Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Evan Knits Things YouTube channel. I'm Evan, and I knit things. You can find me here on YouTube, also over on Instagram and Ravelry under that same name, Evan Knits Things. Now, this week is podcast episode 10. Double digits, can you believe it? We made it to double digits. Episode 10. So, this week I have some things to show you, some things you haven't seen in a while, a couple new things. I've got 2 finished objects, one of which I'm wearing, so we can just jump right in with finished objects. So, the first finished object is this Lento. You saw last week that it was almost done. I just needed to finish a little bit more. I think I had the ribbing in the sleeves. I think that was it. I don't remember now though. It may have just been a sleeve. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is my purple Lento. The Lento is a pattern by Yona Halen. It was published in Lina magazine a few years ago. First and foremost, I do want to say that I did have some problems with this pattern, so I'm not necessarily recommending it, and I'm definitely not recommending it as your first sweater pattern, or if you don't want to put in any extra effort into figuring things out that the pattern is wrong about. And I can get into that a little bit more in a minute. But this one that I knit is knit in Treehouse Knits Cashmere Elm Sock in the colorway First Flurries, and that's a merino cashmere nylon blend. And I held that double with Dusty Yarn Co. Classic Surrey Lace in the colorway Shook. And I cast this on April 7th, and I finished it on April 28th. Now, the problems with this pattern. The first is that the short row shaping section is wrong. If you exactly follow the instructions in the short row shaping section, when you're done with the short row shaping and continue with your raglan increases, the increases aren't going to match up. I came up with a solution for this. I will post it in the description box. I also used lifted increases instead of the knit front back just because that was my preference. My instructions do include lifted increase. If you don't want to do lifted increases, you could easily do a knit front back, or you could do a make one right and a make one left. It doesn't really matter. That may change how many stitches you need to have in between your raglan increases, however. So I will post my fix for that. The second problem with the pattern is in the sleeve decrease section. The numbers don't make any sense. Like they tell you to decrease this number of times and then you'll have this many stitches left. They don't match up. Which isn't super important. You can either knit to the number they tell you to knit to and ignore how many times it tells you to decrease, just decrease until you get to that number, or you can just decrease until you get to a sleeve length and circumference that you like, or you could knit the number of decreases it tells you to knit and just have however many stitches you have. I ended up doing more decreases than they said to in the pattern because my sleeves were still quite big. Like, I think they said for my size, the decreases should have stopped about here, and my sleeve there was quite big. So I kept decreasing until the sleeve length that I liked. But if you don't want to spend a bunch of time customizing a pattern like that, you just want to follow the pattern exactly as written, this pattern is not for you. If you want a pattern that uses a very small amount of yarn and you get an entire sweater for it, this is the pattern for you. In this one, I used, just a second, I had 3 skeins of the Cashmere Elm sock, and this is what I have left of the 3rd skein. And now the Cashmere Elm sock does not have a ton of yardage. It's an 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and it's only 383 yards per 100 grams. And I have all of this left. And this I knit the size 4. So that's a lot of yarn left. And my second finished object is actually a second Lento, which I will talk to you about in a minute. But so my gauge was pretty close to the intended gauge. The gauge listed in the pattern is 15 stitches and 21 rows equals 4 inches. Mine was 16 stitches and 23 rows, but I knew, like, I didn't pin that swatch or anything, so I knew that I could stretch it a little bit and it would be exactly where it needed to be. Now, let me say, I talked about the pattern issues. Oh, there's one more pattern issue I wanted to talk about. This pattern, while size inclusive by dimensions, meaning that it goes up to a 60-inch bust with the ease included. It's a size inclusive garment. However, it is not graded very well for the larger sizes. Now, the 4th size, that's pretty low down in the pattern. At least in my opinion. I believe there are 9 sizes in this pattern, and I will say that the raglan depth, like the armhole depth, is very long, even in my size. Like, my armpit is way up here, and it goes all the way down here. And, like, I don't mind a lower armpit in, like, a slouchy, oversized garment. That's fine, but this doesn't need to be nearly that long. That goes all the way down below the bottom of my bust line, like down to here. So that's something that I would watch out for if you're knitting one of the larger sizes. Like, I have a feeling that this pattern was written specifically for the size 1 or 2 perhaps. And then graded from that sample. So when you do, like, one round knit, then the next round increase, and you don't change that at all, you're going to have a really long armhole depth for any size beyond, like, a 30-inch bust. So while I don't mind this, it's perfectly comfortable to wear. If I had realized how long it was going to be while I was knitting it, I would have knit the body longer. So I think I may rip out my bind off and knit another inch or 2, just to keep with the really oversized feel. Because it's a little too short for the feel up here of being so oversized. But beyond that, this is the softest sweater I have ever knit in my life. The cashmere and then the Surrey lace, it's so soft. It is so soft. If you have not checked out Treehouse Knits Cashmere Elm sock base, go do it. There's a DK version as well. It's a cashmere, I think it's just called Cashmere Elm DK. Do it immediately. And Dusty Yarn Co.'s Surrey is absolutely to die for. And I only used 2 skeins of that, and not even 2 whole skeins, which was great yardage wise. So that's this finished object. I actually left the other finished object over there on my bed. So 1 minute. Second finished object. It's another Lento. So I showed you guys last week that I had this like slime green that I wanted to knit another Lento in. I didn't know if I'd have time. So I was going to do some other stuff and then swatch for it. Well, I swatched on Monday, the 29th, and my swatch was dry on the morning of the 30th, Tuesday. So I cast on Tuesday the 30th, and I bound off on Friday, May 3rd. So I knit this whole sweater in 4 days. I think I'm showing you the back. No. Yes, that's the back. Okay, so this one is knit in different yarn, and I'm actually looking at the back of the sweater right now, and I see a part where I only grabbed the mohair and not the yarn. That's problematic. Okay, anyway, this one I knit up in just a slime green sock yarn that I had in my collection here with these rainbow speckles, and I held that double with Knit Picks Aloft, which is a mohair silk base in the colorway Tarragon. This one ended up, I knitted exactly the same, but this one, just due to the different yarn composition, did stretch a little bit longer. So this one doesn't need any extra length. Funny story, I discovered that my older son is super allergic to mohair while knitting this. I was knitting it while we were doing school on Monday and Tuesday, and his allergies are real bad right now anyway, but he was like dying. So then the next 2 days I didn't knit it at the table next to him, and he was fine. So, no mohair for him, but this turned out super cute. I am a little annoyed. I did alternate skeins throughout this entire thing, and it was fine when the round lengths were changing every other round in the yoke with the raglan increases, but after we got to the body, like no matter what I did, we still got some yarn pulling. Like you can see the diagonals of the lighter speckled section, which kind of drives me a little insane. But literally, like, I would pull out like a loop of yarn about that big just to try to offset the two, but there was nothing I could do. It's really not that noticeable, I don't think. I mean, I notice it because that's something that bothers me, but I don't think it would be super noticeable to another person. I'm just like inhaling mohair. That is the problem with mohair. Now I don't love mohair. I like it fine, but I prefer Surrey alpaca every time. But this Knit Picks Aloft is so much cheaper. Like there's not a commercial yarn brand that I'm aware of that makes a Surrey alpaca base that's like a baby Surrey alpaca and silk. If you know one, please let me know. Hobie has an alpaca and nylon and acrylic and polyamide blend, which is okay. I think I'd probably prefer mohair over it most of the time, but I prefer Surrey alpaca, and I think this project just kind of cemented for me that I don't think I'll buy mohair anymore. Like, it works up fine, and it doesn't irritate me when I'm wearing it unless it's like directly on my neck, but it does irritate my hands when I'm knitting with it. Like, they just feel uncomfortable, and I don't really like it. So, that was my second Lento. I finished it in a week, less than a week, and so I ended up knitting 2 Lentos for the Lento Love KAL. That one is like way warm, so I don't think I'll be wearing it a lot. This one I'm just wearing for filming. It is very hot, and I am sweating sitting here wearing it, but it's so pretty. I've worn this, I think 3 times since I finished it, and I've been like suffering to wear it because it's been hot, but I've been doing it anyway because it's so soft. Now, we talked about my finished objects. That's all the finished objects. Let's talk now about whips and whip progress. So, the first whip I'm going to show you guys is my Stria cardigan, which you've seen somewhat recently. Not last week, but I think the week before. I didn't get as much done on this as I would have liked. But I did get some. So I was down here last time. Oh, the Stria cardigan is by Andrea Mowry. And I am knitting this up in this gray speckled yarn that I had in my collection that wasn't labeled. And this pinky purple red stripe I got from a D-stash, I think. And I don't think it ever had a tag. But this blue is from Explorer Knits and Fibers, and it's their Denali sock, but I don't know what color it is. So this is kind of a scrappy kind of deal, except that I had 4 skeins of whatever this gray is. So this is my Stria cardigan. I've been working on it for over a year now. But I've got the body mostly finished. I haven't decided on the length yet, so it's on cords. And then this is the first sleeve. I was here last time, and I knit about that much, which is about 25 rounds, so not terrible. I really want to finish this. I just don't know when it's going to happen. So let me move my stitch marker here so we know next time what I got up to. So there, it's moved, and we can keep track of progress on that. Hopefully I'll be able to work on it a bit this week, but we'll see. The next work in progress you guys have not seen in a while. So I wanted to move around my living room, so I switched which wall my couch was on, and that created some problems for where other things were in the room. And I have 2 bins this size that this project is taking up, so I picked up this project because it's just taking up too much space in my living room. So this is my Seaglass sweater. The pattern is by Woolen Pine Designs, and I am knitting this in all scrap yarn. Look at it. It's so pretty. This is where I was last time we talked about it. I only worked on this yesterday. So I knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds. So from here up to here. But I got to separate for the sleeves yesterday. Look at it. Also, something I did yesterday, I remember last time I talked about this with you guys, I complained about how I had woven in the ends, how they were pulling things and making things weird. So I unweaved in all of my ends. And I tied each matching color end to its other end. So like the one where you start the round and the one where you end the round. I tied them together, and that's holding the back closed for now. But I need to figure out a different end weaving method. I think I will try the braid method and see how that goes. But I'm not sure how this will end up. But anyway, So this has been taking up too much space in my living room, so I started working on this again. So I got a little bit done, got a long way to go. It's really slow knitting because those were really long rounds. It's like the longest round is around the bottom of the yoke. But now we've separated for sleeves, so the rounds are a little shorter, and the knit one or 1x1 color work makes it a little slower going. But it's going to be so stunning when it's finished, isn't it? Like here, just look at this up close. Stunning. So that's the Seaglass sweater. I think that's the last official whip. I do technically have 2 new cast ons. And a new swatch. So last week I talked to you guys that I wanted to work on this swatch for my husband's Birch knot pullover, and I did do the swatch. Yarns, I'm knitting this up in Knit Picks Stroll in the colorway Midnight Heather, and I'm a Knit Picks affiliate, so if you'd like to get any Knit Picks yarn, you can click the link in the video description box, and I get a small commission. And no cost to you. It's free for you. And gauge is pretty right on. I think I'm off by like 1/4 of a stitch, but given how stretchy this is, like look how stretchy this is both directions, it should be able to block to whatever I'd like it to block to. So I'm not concerned about that. This is not getting cast on this week, though, because I don't have time. But I did knit the swatch, like I said I was going to, before I cast on my slime Lento. So, that did get done. The Birch is also by Andrea Mowry, by the way. It's basically the exact same sweater as the Stria. It's just not a cardigan, it's a pullover. Like the cardigan version has a V-neck cardigan, and I'm going to knit the pullover as a cardigan, but with like a folded over collar instead of it being a V-neck. The next is my Catalonia Crop test knit for Claire Jackson of Perfectly Knotted. I said I wanted to cast this on this past week, and I did. Let me tell you yarns. So the Catalonia Crop, let me pull out my journal here because I don't remember the names of these yarns. It opened directly to that page. How nice is that? I am knitting this up in 2 fingering weight yarns held double. This is the Fawn and the Fox Otter fingering weight, which is a 75-25 merino nylon, and 464 yards per 100 grams in the colorway Grand Budapest, and Knitsomniac Designs Twist and Shout fingering, which is an 80-20 merino nylon, and it's 400 yards per 100 grams, and the colorway is called Dead Man's Party. I do believe that both of these dyers have stopped dyeing. I have gotten both of these yarns from D-stashes. And the Fawn and the Fox website still exists, but there's nothing on it. And the Knitsomniac Designs website does not exist at all anymore. So I'm sorry if you really like this yarn, because you can't get them. But anyway, back to the test. I wanted to cast this on before I started my other Lento, and I did. It wants to roll, so here's about how much I have done. This is a fun little crop top. I'm about halfway through the regular body before I start any bust increases or anything. So I think this is going to be really pretty. Look at that up close. The speckles are really fun. So I am hoping to knit on this a little bit this week, but we'll just have to see what I have time for. The last new thing this week that I will just talk about super briefly. This, I have another Purl Soho project. This, I talked to you guys several weeks ago that I had 3 samples for them that I was doing, 1 in one size and 2 in a smaller size. Well, they decided that they wanted to change the pattern a bit, so I am knitting the same samples again, but only 2 this time. So I have 2 samples to knit for them that is due by the end of the month. So I do need to work on that a decent amount this week. So that's all of the knitting that I've been doing this week. Next up, we would usually do, what am I wearing? But we already talked about my Lento a bunch. So, you know what I'm wearing, and I don't even have any earrings or any fun earrings on today. I just have my regular earrings that I wear all the time forever and never, ever, ever take out. So, next after that is goals. So let's talk about goals. Let's see what I accomplished this past week, goal-wise. Let's see what I want to accomplish this coming week, goal-wise. I wanted to finish the Lento I'm wearing, block it, did that. Do the Birch swatch and block it, did that. Swatch the green Lento, did that. Cast on my Catalonia Crop, did that. Knit the green Lento, did that. I wanted to complete a whole sleeve on my Stria. I was clearly delusional. I did not do that. And I wanted to unravel one sleeve on my Plumetis top that was a disaster. And I did do that. I did obviously get other things done. I also made a decision about my Flareon cross stitch. I started trying to unpick one of the colors that I didn't like, and it was horrible, and I hated doing it, so I threw the whole thing away, and we're going to start over. So that's how that goes. Now, goals for this next week. I haven't done the May pages in my journal yet, besides like the monthly spread. I've only done the monthly spread. So I can't write down my goals yet because this should be the weekly goal page, but I haven't done it yet because I haven't had time. Goals for this week. Non-knitting wise, I need to paint my bathroom. And I need to move my TV in my TV room and rehang a bunch of art that I had to take down to move my couch and move a bunch of other stuff around. So I need to reset up my living room and I need to paint my bathroom. So those things take time. Knitting wise, first thing I need to do is I need to knit one of the samples for Purl Soho. I need to knit at least one of them this week and get it finished and have it be done. Second thing I'd like to do this week is I'd like to knit the first section of my Catalonia Crop before any increasing for the bust happens. So I'd like to finish that. Third thing I'd like to do knitting-wise this week is I'd like to work on either my Seaglass or my Stria cardigan. The only reason I'm saying the Stria cardigan is because it's still the Drea Renee Knits March to May knit along, so my brain says that I should work on that because it's the knit along. But I don't really want to work on that. I want to work on my Seaglass and get these 2 giant bins out of my living room. Because they're taking up a lot of space and it's bothering me. And when things make my brain itchy like that, I need to do something about it or I'll go insane. So I think we're going to temporarily ignore the Stria again, even though it's been being ignored for a year, and the Seaglass is still relatively new. But whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? And And then maybe if I'm feeling really, 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 really productive, I will undo the sewn tubular bind off for this Lento here. And I don't think I'll rip the ribbing back. I think I'll just knit another inch of ribbing, even though like it won't match the length of the other ribbing. I think I don't care. I think I'll just have longer ribbing. Just because that's so much easier. Then I don't have to rip back anything else. I can just knit from there. So if I'm feeling really productive, then I will lengthen the body of this. That's all the goals. Finally, we have acquisitions. And I do actually have an acquisition for you guys this week. Look at this. Look at this beautiful yarn. Rainbow Speckles. This is from Cozy Cauldron Fiber Co. Ooh, that feels really nice. This is their soft sock base, which is a 75-25 merino nylon blend. It's 463 yards per 100 grams. And this is the colorway Disability Isn't a Dirty Word, which she did for World Autism Day. So I got this to make something for my son, who is autistic. And he picked this mini from I have no idea where in my scrap yarn. And he would like mittens with a heart on them. But given how much he's growing, we're going to save that until the fall to do, because he's 9 and he's only 2 inches shorter than me. Yeah. So I'm sure if I knit him mittens right now, he'll grow out of them by the time he needs mittens. So we're going to leave this on top of my yarn shelf here for the next 6 months, so I remember that that's what it's for, and I will knit him some mittens when it gets cool out, because that won't take very long. And I'll probably just do like a duplicate stitch heart instead of trying to intarsia a heart, because I don't want to do that. So that's everything. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you liked this video. Definitely check out my other podcast episodes or my FO Archives videos. If you'd like another FO Archives video for this Lento and the green one, or I haven't done one for my ranunculus that I knit real quick. If you'd like a video going super in depth about either of those, please leave a comment and let me know. I don't have a super ton of time to film or edit, so adding that second video a week was really kind of a burden, but I will make time for it if you guys want it. They haven't really gotten many, if any, views, so I'm thinking maybe that's not content you guys are interested in. Leave me a comment and let me know. Thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you guys next time. Definitely like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so YouTube knows what kind of people like my stuff and who to send it to. I would really love to hit 100 subscribers by my birthday, which is the 9th. I'm not sure if that's possible anymore, but it would be incredible if it happened, and it would really make my day. So subscribe, tell your friends, share this video, and definitely go follow me over on Instagram. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!